God, you call me by my name. The love you give me, I just can't deny. Yeah.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back or to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and thank you for those who are always returning. Today I'm gonna be exposing myself while I'm doing my makeup, and I feel like this conversation is something that very much needed. I mean, I recognized it, and I feel like if whoever's watching this video, y'all might, you know, feel like you're like that too, or you might not even realize that you're this way. But we're gonna get down into it. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, comment, and share, and let's just get straight into it. Let's not even chat no more about nothing else. So I am exposing myself heavy right now, and honestly, part of growing in Christ, part of growing in building with God, or just trying to have a relationship, you realize that you just have to come to a lot of realizations about things, and it might be things that you didn't realize that you were doing before, but once you realize, like, you're like, wow, like, that's really crazy. Like, I can't believe I was doing that. And that's the state that I'm in right now. I definitely feel like walking on this journey is definitely not a walk in the park. And for those who know, y'all know. I've always been a person where I just love to be around people, or just more so, I always love to make people feel special. That is my thing. I just love making people feel special. I love making people feel like, you know, that you're worthy, that you're definitely loved, and that you're, you know, your presence is definitely a present. And for me, I could definitely say over the years, when I realized that I have not received it the way that I gave it out, it definitely put a damper on my whole spirit overall, and it just makes me think less about myself, if we're honestly being real. So I learned that I was literally looking for validations from others, and that was a really bad route, because I would literally get so upset if people didn't do what, you know, what they claimed they would do, or act the way, you know, they claimed they would act. I just had like very high expectations for people, whether it was my friends, whether it was my family. Like, I had very high expectations for people, and when they didn't follow through, it really broke my heart, like really bad. Like, again, I would be crying, like I would get in my little tantrum modes and just feel like, you know, like, oh, people, they not who they claim to be, and they always do this and they always do that, and I always go out my way for people and stuff like that. And it was a lot, honestly. It's definitely played a major part in it. And one thing I could say is that my mom, she always said, you know, whatever you do for people, you do it out of the kindness of your heart, and you don't look for nothing back. And that's something that always stuck with me growing up, because she's been telling me that since a child, which I knew that already. That I knew. But if we're being honest, everybody wants to feel appreciated. It doesn't have to be a full-on like celebration or anything, but everybody wants to feel appreciated. Everybody wants to feel like their presence is a present. That's just naturally. It doesn't have to be something super dramatic, but everybody wants to feel like they're loved. So yes, I would do stuff for people. Yes, I've always been the friend that goes out of their way, okay? Like, I will go out of my way for you. Like, it don't matter where I'm at, what I'm going through. Like, I've always been that person. Like, I was literally do unto others as you want done to yourself. And when I wasn't receiving it, it really broke my heart, because it was just like, wow, like, these people, they keep showing me that they're not capable by choice. And it's like, why do I keep, you know, trying, or like, why do I keep attaching myself to these kind of people who clearly are showing me that they are not capable of showing up for me? Now, here's the thing. It's not that they weren't capable. Again, it is by choice. Now, for me, I would get upset because I feel like I've always been that friend. I've always been that sister. I've always been that daughter or whatever for everyone else. But when I need someone, it's like no one's there. Or when I want to do something, no one's there. It's almost like sometimes people don't even ask you like the simple things, like how are you doing truly, and checking up on you truly, like the way I always go all out for people. Because people weren't doing this for me, it made me feel like I wasn't enough. In reality, in return, with that making me feel like I wasn't enough, I went harder in doing more for them and trying to beat my own expectation of what I did before and try to top it, just so that they can see, hey, I'm here. Hey, like, I'm this person for you. I'm that person for you. Like, I'm here. I'm always gonna go all out and all that other stuff. And then the more I did that and the more they didn't show up for me, it just made me feel worse. And me realizing, like, I really put my whole validation in men. Like, I let others validate who I am, and I let that play a part into my confidence. I let that play a part into how I felt about myself overall. And it was a very, very, very hard thing that I had to come to terms with. Like, wow, Nyla, like, you really seek validation from other people. Literally, this is something that, you know, nobody wants to admit. Like, if we're being honest, nobody wants to admit that. But in reality, I sought validation in man instead of in Christ, because that is what was gonna make me sleep better at night, knowing that someone gave me a little bit of appreciation for being that rock for them. It's very cringy, but the truth hurts. I actually didn't realize that I was doing this. Like, I just always was just like, I don't understand why people are like treating me this way. Mind you, I also let them have open access to me because they knew that I was a person who always just is gonna have that understanding heart and that understanding spirit and just always going all out. I also allowed myself to be open to being taken advantage of. So that's something that I had to come to realization with too, as far as taking my accountability and allowing those open portals to happen. Now, my intentions for it was pure. Like, I was not trying to seek validation to where it's just like, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me. I want to be number one, or I want to be the top one on your list and everything. It was more so like I wanted to be seen, because it's like, I'm here. Like, I'm your friend, I'm your sister, like, I want to be seen because I want you to know that I appreciated you. Like, I went so hard building others up and making them feel very important while taking away from myself and tearing myself down, because I'm a person where I'd rather I suffer than to watch somebody else cry or to see someone else suffer and everything. So it was just always like me not realizing that I was really taking away from myself, and I never consulted God at all. All I would do was cry to God, like, you know, why does this keep happening? And I'm always this way for this person. I'm always going all out for this person, and this person always want to give me excuses, and they never want to show up for me and stuff like that. And I would pray for these friends. Like, I would pray to have these kind of people in my life who can show up for me the way I show up for them. And in reality, I don't need other people to make me feel like I'm special, to make me feel like I'm wanted, to make me feel like I'm on this high level, because honestly and humbly, I'm nothing without Christ. That's just what it is. It took me a very long time to realize that. Even with now, I can even say, even with now, sometimes it's still a battle, but it's not even half the battle that it was before. I would even get hurt at the fact that, like, people would also try to come, like, for my character. And mind you, I know who I am. I'm very sure on who I am. And people would try to, like, assassinate my character and make it seem like I'm one way when I'm not. Or just basically just talk down on me or talk crazy about me and just feel this way about me. And it's like, most of the time they don't know me. Most of the time they're not taking their own accountability in what they did in a situation. Just lying and trying to get other people to believe what they believe and how they choose to go, because they refuse to take accountability for themselves. And that is something that bothered me. Like, I hated that people would try to assassinate my character, or people had this perception of me. It was almost like I feel like I had to check people who feel a crazy way about me. Like, granted, I know that everybody's not gonna like me, which that is perfectly fine. That's not what I was looking for. But I would get so upset. It's like someone who don't know me, or someone who just never even had a real conversation with me. They just feel like I'm this and I'm this and I'm that. And it's just like, I always felt like I needed to stand up and prove myself. Now, I'm not proving myself to nobody but Christ himself. I don't owe anybody an explanation, because I know who I am. Most importantly, Christ knows who I am, and that's the only validation that matters. Let people feel how they feel. If it's one thing about it, people are gonna feel how they feel about you, and there's nothing that you could do about it. They're gonna like you, they're gonna not like you, regardless of the fact. You don't have nothing to prove to anybody except for Christ. I had to realize that people are gonna talk about you regardless, whether it's good or bad. You could be doing something positive, you could be doing something negative. People are gonna talk, and that was literally the hard pill I had to swallow. All of this time, I was seeking the validation of people knowing truly who I am, knowing really how my heart really operates, how it is, and really fighting for that. And it's like, none of that matters. People may know who you are, but they still are gonna choose to have their own perception. So now at this point, I'm finally getting to a state where like, I'm not seeking validation from nobody but Christ, which is how it should have been from the beginning, because Christ does know my heart through my actions. And it's not about what I say. It's about how I choose to go about things. I'm no longer addressing people who feel like I'm negative or who feel these many negative ways about me. I'm no longer addressing those situations. I'm no longer fighting for a spotlight in people's life and for people to see me as this wonderful person and for people to see me as the great friend that I am, or the great sibling, or the great daughter, or whatever it is. I'm not fighting for that anymore, because at the end of the day, whether I'm in someone's life, it'll show what fruits I left. I used to get so depressed like when my birthdays come around and stuff like that, because I'm a person that's like big on birthdays, big on like holidays, any type of events, and I like to show out for my people. And I would get so depressed when like that time comes around and like people don't show up for me, as far as like even just making me a priority and doing stuff with me, or just something that means a lot to me, just make me a part of their priority list. I would get so upset, because I know that 9 times out of 10 I'm watching them on social media do it for other people and do it for people that they want to do it for. So it made me feel less of myself, because it's just like, dang, like what am I not doing? Why am I not good enough to be treated the way that I'm treating you? It was definitely something that I had to go through and realize that, girl, God is on your side. It does not matter how men see you. Like, look at how they view Jesus, okay? Like, and that's always a reference that I'm gonna go back to, where it's like, look how they view Jesus. Nobody respected Jesus outside of his disciples and those who loved him and everything. They felt how they felt about Jesus regardless. Even though he was the light of the world, it didn't matter. I'm looking at it now as an honor to be on the outside, or to be in my own little lane and not looking for validation from nobody. Like, it's truly a flex, because now it's like, okay, now I know that I'm truly walking the way I need to be walking when it comes to Christ. That's not saying to not have friends, but this is more so going for anybody, because you might accidentally seek that validation in a relationship, because that happens too, and that happened to me as well. You might seek it in a relationship, you might seek it in a friendship, whatever it is that you're lacking internally, and from Christ mostly, because he's the only one that can give it to you. You go and you try to seek it yourself. You try to seek it from man. You don't think you're beautiful because your friend or your partner doesn't think that you're beautiful. So now you're tearing yourself apart, when in reality, who are you to say you're not beautiful if you was made in God's image? It's honestly, realizing now, it's honestly disrespectful for us to tear ourselves apart physically, mentally, emotionally, because if we're made in God's image, who are we to take away from ourselves? Who are we to try to go against what he created? He created us all differently. He created us all wonderfully and in his image, and we are all different. We're not gonna all like how each other look. That's just what it is. That's the reality. Somebody might not like how I look. I might not like how somebody else look. But none of that matters. The only person that matters is that Christ made you exactly the way you are for a reason. And as long as he sees you as beautiful and you find that love within yourself in him, that's all that matters. I'm on a route and I'm comfortable knowing that, you know what, I may not have a lot of friends, if not any friends at all, but I know that God is my friend. I don't have to do certain things to feel important from anyone, because I'm not working for man. I'm working to be seen by God, if anything, and he already sees all things. There's nothing that I can hide from him. And I'm gonna say this because a lot of people always like to say self-love comes from within, and that's completely wrong, honestly, because we lack confidence and we lack self-esteem, and we don't like how we look, and we pick ourselves apart and everything, all because, you know, it could be social media, it could be the way we grew up, it could be because we was, you know, teased or whatever it is growing up. But honestly, self-love is in Christ. I promise you, because when you find love in Christ, whether you're reading your word, whether you're building a relationship with him, when you set your mind on his word and what he says, how he feels about us, how things should be, you naturally have that internal confidence. You feel more beautiful. You feel like you're literally walking right beside him. Like, you feel like there's nothing that you can't do. And that's true confidence. That's true validation, knowing that, you know what? Christ said I'm beautiful. You may think I'm ugly, but Christ said I'm beautiful. You may think I'm evil, but Christ said I has a pure heart. Like, when you truly understand and you truly learn, or you're learning to live the way Christ wants you to, or walk the Christ-like walk, a lot of things, if anything, does not matter anymore, because it's all about Christ. Like, literally, your principles change, your values change, your morals change. Like, in fact, you might be isolated, or you might find kingdom-like friends if it's your time or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you're not gonna have people in your circle at all, or go and cut off, you know, your whole tribe and everybody that's not a believer. No, that doesn't mean that. It's just more so of, you find comfort and confidence in who you are, and you're able to be that person around whoever, because you stand in Christ. That validation is so strong, that confidence is so strong. Like, nothing could break you, because regardless if this person believes or this person don't, I'm standing strong on how I am and how I feel. So this is me coming to y'all, being real with myself and finally being real with God. Hopefully that this video inspired you and helped you if you're struggling or was struggling with the same thing, or if this is something that you had to come to terms with. But y'all, we definitely gotta literally just only put our trust, only put our faith and everything and how we feel about each other into God. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think down below. I would definitely love to have an open discussion and conversation down in the comments. If you're interested in this eyeshadow look, make sure that you check that look out up on my channel. Please make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me on my other socials to really keep up with me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.